Hey everybody, it's Douglas here, and if you don't know me, I am a massive time geek. I love saving time. I love being able to get technology to work for us and not the other way around. To that end, I run a AI agency that helps businesses automate their workflows so they can get back to their high value tasks rather than spend time on tedious, monotonous stuff. So let's just hop right in. You can see if you'd like to check out Razor and what we do, this is our website. And we also have a very cool newsletter that goes out every day. You can click on newsletter to subscribe, as well as a podcast. We have a short podcast throughout the week. And then on the weekend, we have a wrap up of all the week's news. So that as a little quick introduction. Today, we are going to be talking about spreadsheets and the power of integrating ChatGPT into spreadsheets. We're going to be using social media ideas as an example, but it's really going to give you the foundation of some amazing things that you can do with spreadsheets when you integrate AI. You could use it for all sorts of tasks. And what I'm going to teach you today is how to use it in just for simple prompts, how to use it to create lists, and how to also create even tables with it. Very cool stuff. I'm going to also touch on how you could then use that data to bulk export content for social media. In this case, we'll play a little around with some graphics. I'll show you. And then we'll even touch on what you could do beyond that, such as scheduling posts or that kind of thing. We won't get too deep into that. This is more about the spreadsheets. So let's hop in again, and let's just talk about why ChatGPT isn't really quite good enough typically, okay? So the issue is that when you have the spreadsheet, so in this case I said, give me a table with two columns. The first, the name of a famous person, and the second, an inspiring quote from them. Okay, and it gave you this thing, which is pretty cool, because it gives you it as a table, and you could, if you wanted to, then literally just copy that right to a spreadsheet, and that's pretty neat, right? The problem lies with it's not really that flexible. If you want to create a whole bunch of new ones, if you've got this prompt that you lost somewhere in ChatGPT, if you want to just tweak little things, you then sort of have to go back here and it's kind of static. So I think that there's a really cool opportunity for spreadsheets to be a little bit more powerful than this, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, this is a template that I made, and I will, in the links, include the two things that you're going to need for this. You're going to need an extension called GPT, well, it's actually called, under extensions, GPT for Slides, Docs, and Sheets. Okay, so let's go ahead and first of all, you're going to also need this spreadsheet as the example to work out of. And so what we're going to do, first of all, when I give you this link, you just say make a copy, okay? And so I'm going to call this, let's see, what's the name of this class again? I'm just going to call it the name of the class, okay? And here we go. And that's fine for now. Great. So now when I create a new sheet, and important to note, when you've created it, you don't have the functions ready to go. What you need to do is find this extension first. So it's called GPT for Slides. So you go to add-ons, get add-ons. Now it's going to show me if I say GPT for Slides. Here it is. It already says it's installed for me. But that's the one that you're going to download. It's free. It's actually pretty reasonable for free use. And I'll send you the link to also download it. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you'll see, you might have to reload your page, but you'll see it in here. And you'll need to click on this Start button. So when you click on this Start button, it's going to now actually hopefully show that it's doing some cool things. You saw how that changed, right? So what's neat about that is and you might have to go into extensions and say GPT for Slides. If I refresh now, I'm going to just refresh this window. Okay, and then if I go into my extensions, you might need to say enable GPT Formulas, okay? And then this is something I'll get into in a little later, but if it asks you to allow access, you can click allow access because you can trust it. Okay, so what's going on? As you could see, I have this extension over here, this little, let's see, just start. It's going to pull up my sidebar. Now, this is helpful because it actually has a whole bunch of cool things that you can use. I'm not going to be really working in this sidebar much because I'm going to be showing you the actual formulas in place. And but this is a great way to just explore. You can find some help stuff, a demo sheet, and a few other things. Sometimes it says you need to come in here. This is also the place to see where your subscription price costs are or what you've got. And you can actually get the free plan. If you share it, you get some more credits, and then of course you can always buy it. I want to just mention before I get into this, an honorable mention to Claude. Also has if you like using Claude, which is another AI tool, looks like this. Claude has a tool that's built in, and actually they make the extension, and that is, you would find Claude for Sheets. If you want to learn how to do that, then what you would need to do is basically come in here. If you'd rather use Claude, you can actually you need an Anthropic API key. I'm not going to get into that, but literally you just would buy some credits and you would put the key in there. I'm going to use the GPT because one, it's free anyways, at least to get started. Two, I think it's more powerful, and you'll see some of that in a second. Okay, great. So let's just talk about what we've got here first. The green ones are linear prompts. They literally just go straight across. And there's three of them. There's without data input, with data input, and with basically a multi-prompt linear. Now the next ones with the orange is lists without data input, and then list with the data input. And then the last one we're going to get into is a table without data and a table with data. And then I'm going to show you a little something cool as a bonus with imagery that you can also do in this, which is another thing that you can't do with Claude and why it's cool to work with ChatGPT. Okay, so it took a little bit of working this out, but basically on this side is just a regular text prompt, okay? But here's where it gets exciting. See this little formula? It's GPT equals, and I can show you a test to show you how this would work if I was not doing anything with a prompt, or like, this dynamic prompt. All I need to do is press the equal sign, GPT, bracket, and then say in quotation marks, because it's a text thing, give me the capital of California. Okay, that's where I'm located. And it's going to now load, take a few credits, and you have now got this dynamic solution. So at the very least, what I just taught you is super, super cool. And what you can do is, that's just something you can do quite easily. And that's great for these one little cells. But what if you wanted to do it for a few things? So look at this. This is actually similar, but instead of using the quotation marks, it's just using that cell. Okay, so what I could do here is I could say add a row, and here I could say, say what's a joke a pirate would make. Okay, and look at this. Now all I need to do is copy this cell, paste it here, and hopefully it's going to tell me a really terrible, really terrible pirate joke. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Why did the pirate go to school? To improve his articulation. Okay. So now you're starting to see the coolness of these prompts on the side and this very simple prompt structure. Okay. So now there's a linear prompt structure, which is kind of cool, right? So with data input. So basically in this case, what we're going to do, and I'll show you this first, is we've got these two variables. We've got the prompt and we've got the value, okay? And so here is what we can do with this. Let me just add a couple more lines here, 2 rows below. I'm going to say, give me an inspiring quote. I'll use the same prompt, but then data, I'm going to say, let's see, what's his name? Tony Robbins. And how about Oprah Winfrey, okay? Just to pull a couple of names out of here. All right, so now you've got this list. You can go like this. Again, copy and paste. All I'm doing is Command C and Command V. Okay, so let's take a look. And there it is, quotes from Oprah Winfrey. So now you're starting to see if you had a big list of this, like, so I could, if I wanted to, go to ChatGPT and say, give me, oh, well, here it is. Give me just their names. Give me just a list of their names. All right, cool. So here we go. So now what I could do, just to show you how neat this is, I could copy all of this over. I could go to my little export scratch pad here. I could do that. I could come back over here. I can say inspiring quote. And I'll just do these first 4 because yeah, then we don't have to get crazy over here. And then here's the result. All I'm doing is copying that. It's not copying the text. It's copying the function. So over here, all I do, boom, 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 paste it in. And here we go. Let's see what it does. So now you're starting to see how cool that is, right? All right, great. That's our first section of linear prompts. Let's get into this. In my example, the prompt is 5 inspiring famous people, and the only thing different here is instead of using the regular GPT prompt, we're using equals GPT underscore list. And what's cool is that I can say here, give me 5 famous artists. Okay, that's going to be my little experiment again. And here, I'm going to, I'll just go like this to show you. Equals GPT, and what's nice is it kind of comes up with the options that this extension or this add-on gives you. So look at this. I'm going to say list, and all I got to do is this, close the bracket, and now it should give me 5 famous artists, and it fills it in the list. How cool is that? All right, so now what we could do is say you've got the list right here. Say you're bringing your list in. You could just, copy. This one basically is similar. It's using a range, okay? So now I could say let's see, let me just do an experiment next to it here and say provide the date of birth of the following people, okay? And so now I can take my names that I just developed here. That's effectively becoming the data. In fact, what I should do is I should just delete this and show you how I did this. Okay, I'm gonna just go like this, because then it's at least in the right columns. Okay, so now what we do is we go equals GPT list, and then the first thing is the prompt, then you do a comma, then you do the range, and that is by just selecting all of these, closing the brackets, and now it should give me just the dates of their, and I could, now here's what's cool. Say you just want the dates, right? Because now it has the name here and then also the date, so I don't really want that. I just want the date. So actually, I come back to the prompt and say, provide the date of the birth of the following people, and now I could say, give me the, just the date. Me just the date with no other context. Look at this. And now what it should do is, boom. So you see, now you're starting to see the power of doing it in spreadsheets rather than elsewhere. Okay, so look at this. Now we've got 5 inspiring people, a famous quote from them. What's happening here is this is all happening at the same time. Okay, so, and this is just a table, but it's got a prompt. So that's kind of cool, right? So let's do the same sort of thing here, and we're gonna do, let's see, maybe I could say, give me, I'll copy this one just so the prompt is, I'm gonna also delete this, and I'm gonna say, give me, okay, I'm gonna say here, give me, provide a name of a piece of artwork created by the following people. Okay, actually, you know what? I think I needed to look at this again because it was slightly different. I'm going to delete this. Okay, so what actually the better way to do this prompt is the comma is what separates the columns. I kind of forgot that. So basically, I'm going to say 5 artists. I'll just use the same example. The date of birth, their date of birth. And I'm going to see if I'm just going to remove that. Okay, so now what we can do is use the table example. So it's GPT table, and then all I need to do is click on this because it's just the one prompt. And look at this. If it works right, it should have the name and date of birth. So look at that. Is it the same? Yes, it's the same. So now what we could do, a famous, okay, I could say their most famous piece of artwork. Now it should do 3 columns, which is very cool if it works. All right, most famous artwork, Starry Night, Guernica. So this is perfect. I didn't even have to enter, just give me, it's literally doing it correctly. Okay, so here we go. For each person, okay, and so this one's going to provide a name and then a range, so similar to what we did before, okay? So in this case, the data that I would use is I'm going to delete the GPT response, and I'm going to keep on working on this. So for each person, provide their date of birth. And so this is an example of when you are bringing in your own data. So again, it's slightly different, but it's important to understand. So now what we'll do is, again, GPT list, and I'm sorry, GPT table, and then here's the prompt, comma, here's the range, close the bracket, press return. All right, and so now, again, it's using a list that I brought in. And then I could say, again, I could go like this. All right, great. So there we go. Okay, so that is really, really cool stuff. I was working in the wrong sheet, so I'm just gonna go to this one for the next example. So we've now talked about the ways that you could work in ChatGPT, in spreadsheets with ChatGPT. So let's take a look even at my credits just for fun. If I go down here, I can say, let's go into I think you can just say, let's go into billing. Oh, actually, I think that's if you want to buy the billing. So that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go in to see my credits. So let me just go into start. That pulls up the sidebar. And then I could come over to I believe, let's see. Oh, it's in settings again, subscription. And so here are my credits. Okay, and so I'm kind of running low on credits, so I better be careful. Anyways, so the last thing that I was going to show you here as a bonus before we get into what you can do with this is this DALL-E image prompt. And I need to keep some credits because I'm going to do this workshop live. So I'm not going to do any more processing, but I would like to show you is what I created here. This is a little more advanced, but I created a prompt for ChatGPT. And the way it works is, and you'll see it, is if you click on it, it's a GPT image. And in this is kind of cool. This shows you, you create, and I'll just zoom in so you can see this. This one's a little more complicated. So get image, create an image to represent the following without any text. If you notice, I close that bracket, I close the quotation mark, then I add the A60 here, which is the prompt, or at least the thing I want to be inspired by for the image. Then there's a comma, and then you'll see over here there's a little key. Seed, I kind of forget what seed does. Quality B60, and I just created some little drop downs here. But what you could definitely easily do is say insert drop down, and that is where basically it allows you to edit this drop down. And this is kind of particular because you need to enter these numbers. So if you create a drop down, then when you see I have quality, size, and style here, this represents quality, which would be this standard, size, which would be square in this case, and then lastly is the style. So I think by default you have vivid and natural. I just put those all in, but what's neat is once you connect that, you can actually, it will give you an error at first that you need to actually, where is it? You got to go back to the our other add-on here, and what you'll need to do, I believe it's under list of formulas, GPT. You might not even need to do this, but you'll need to activate Google Drive in order to do this because it needs to store images. When OpenAI creates an image with DALL-E, it only creates a link that works for an hour or a day actually. So you need to actually put them in your Google Drive folder. And so I think you can do it by that, or I think another way you could do it maybe is like this, and then that will allow you to connect to Drive. But regardless, I think the better way to do it is formula controls, or actually no, it's list formulas, and then go down to image, you activate your Google Workspace, and then what happens is you have a new folder called GPT Workspace in your Drive, and that's where images will get created, okay? All right, so, and you'll know I'm not gonna do any image tests because it really runs down your credits. So that's that. Next on the agenda is what do we do with all this stuff? Okay, so say we've created this nice list of inspiring quotes, okay? All right, so let's get some quotes to our Scratchpad. All right, and so I'm going to take these people and their quotes. Now, important to note here, when you copy and paste, you don't want it to paste the formula, you want it to paste the actual text. And the way you can do that is you can right click and say paste special values only. Also the Command Shift V, so that's what I usually do, just Command Shift V. And so there's what you got. Oh, it's got this funny sort of thing here. So this is gonna be their name. I'm gonna put that there, and this is gonna be their quote. All right, so now you've got a big list of quotes. Say you've got 100, like we've just got 4 for the example. What we're gonna do is make a batch bulk of content. Now, honorable mention again, if you have the paid version of of Canva, you can upload a spreadsheet and create graphics like this, okay? This was a little experiment that I did when I had the paid. I don't have the paid right now. We're not using this as much in the agency anymore. I'll show you what we are using, and that's the tool I'll actually use. I believe they've got a free trial also. But anyways, if you've got the paid Canva, what you would do is you go into apps, and then I believe under, let's see, explore them all. Maybe you go under, maybe actually like this. It's hard to find, it's really strange. Let me go back to my thing here. I think it goes, okay, now I can go apps, and then more from Canva. Bulk Create is this cool thing that you can, if you have the upgraded plan, you can attach a spreadsheet, and then each of these can be dynamic fields that you could then you could import that spreadsheet that we're about to download, and then you could export it from Google Slides, export it from Google Spreadsheets, import it into Canva, and make 100 graphics in one go. Okay, so however, we use something called Creatomate. It's a little more powerful. It also can work really well with video. It can work dynamically, and so we use it for completely automated stuff, which I'm going to show you at the end of the video how powerful this can get. Okay, so let's find our export Scratchpad. Here it was. Okay, and so now all we need to do is say File, go to our Scratchpad, and all we want it to have is the things that we want. We don't want to export any of this stuff, so that's why I have a blank tab here. File, Export. Or also, let's see, where is it? Save as. Okay, share, no, no, download. And now we download it as a comma separated values. Don't worry, CSV, and that's going to be on my desktop now. All right, so in Creatomate, I'll show you what I have done here. I've got, I believe you get, again, a free test if you want to try this. I have a template that I created just for this. And what you'll notice here is I have my logo that I put there. I have this little quotation marks, the graphic that I put in there. I have I'll go first, this background image, which is like this thing. A border, which is kind of hard to see, but it's kind of like that. I could also, if I wanted to, I could come over here and probably do some stuff like make this a little bit, if I wanted to. Oh, that's not good. Let's say 75. Okay, I might like that a little bit more. All right, so also I have these text boxes, and there's the text box quote here. Now the important thing is here to show you, first of all, you choose your font or whatnot, and it's actually going to be no clip, wrap. You want it to be in the middle, you want it to be in the center, you want it to also basically auto size font, fixed width and fixed height. It's going to fill, no matter how long this is, it's going to fill this box, which is really cool. You see that? So if I have that and then copy paste, it's going to make it smaller if it's a longer quote. Similarly with the name. The important thing to note is you need this to be dynamic, and this is just all stuff you can explore. All I have is the color white with a little drop shadow, but the dynamic is what's going to make it work for us, and also those settings that I just showed you. Okay, and this makes it centered in the center if you want. Name, similarly, this one's even simpler. Basically, in this case, I wanted this to be smaller because if this was 100, sometimes the default's 100. It might look too big, so I might even just say make it 3 or 3.5, something like that. And also, again, dynamic, centered in vertically and centered middle, and wrap and no clip and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so now what we could do is use this template, and it says spreadsheet to video, but it's fine. You can just say spreadsheet to, it's going to be spreadsheet to images in our case. Continue, and we've got this sort of working area here, but we need to get our spreadsheet in. So what we would do is import the data, and then I can literally just get my spreadsheet, or I'll just show you how, whoops, where did it go? Here we go. I'm just going to say the easy way for you all to see it. Rather than, I'm fancy, I drag mine in directly, which from a different screen, but that's all you do. All right, and so it's automatically mapped the dynamic name, and if you remember in this tab, oh no, not that tab, well, you'll see I named the layer name and I named the quote, and so it automatically found them. But if you didn't do that, you might need to select your relevant ones. So now I just press continue. This I don't think you need to worry about. I just press continue, import data, and now what we can do is not the most beautiful, but you'll see it's created these, and now I think we can just delete this one because that was from something we didn't do. And we have our 4 that we had, remember, from our spreadsheet, and here they are. And now all we would need to do is say, select all of them, and then create renders. And here we go. It's going to hopefully now go back to our feed. And there they are. That was funny, it didn't show them. They kind of disappeared. I had to go back to the feed and then click on the feed, and then there they go. And now I can say download renders, and you're about to download all renders. The files will be named after the, okay, that's fine. Or actually, maybe I should name them after the person. Download, and what I think is it's going to be probably right here. No, it's on my desktop again. So let me go back to my file and down to my desktop, and let's see if it's there. Is this it? No, that's not it. That was this. Where'd it go? All right, I might have to find where it went. Download, let me just download again. Download. Okay, here, it's on the top of my, I think it's in a Firefox folder. Okay, so now I go like that, and, oh, it was in here. Here it is somewhere. Where is it? Why is it so hard? Spreadsheets, the graphic test. I forgot what it was called. Okay, and so look at this. Here are very nice graphics using Creatomate. All right, and so the last thing I'd like to show you here is how powerful that this can get. So what we've done here is I've showed you how to create a list of things. In this case, we used quotes and using GPT for Sheets. And then I showed you how to format that, export it. And I told you about Canva, how you could use that if you want. If you've got the paid version with bulk import or bulk export, whatever it's called. And then I found it's not great, so we anyway use for our agency Creatomate, which I showed you. The important thing for that is that you need to make sure to have those dynamic fields created. Then you can add them to your export and then export them. Okay, here's the cool thing. This can be incredibly powerful. Now, with Canva, it's a little bit harder, but I know with Creatomate, you can do very cool stuff with images. Like you could do dynamic images. And so what do I mean by that? Well, let's go back to screen share here. And this is a company that we created all of these templates for, these 6. And so what's neat about these is this company can produce and schedule 6 pillars, different ones, in bulk. All they need is a spreadsheet with their data, which they can get by entering manually. They can use also what I showed you today with like the GPT and the spreadsheets. And then basically when they have, this is their form, and it's actually kind of like, it works off of this spreadsheet. So it's very similar, but it's just a little bit more fancy. What's cool about this one is you'll notice that there's also images. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit more complicated. For some reason, it's unfortunate, but I just tested yesterday. These links directly from your Google Drive don't work dynamically with Creatomate, which means they probably wouldn't work with Canva either. So it's a little bit more complicated. That's why I just showed you an example with just text, but like an example like this. However, it is possible to do, and that's what we did for this company, to use these images. And so it's very, very cool. So there's a different basically tab for each one of these social media posts. And then all the person, and when there's at least one row ready, but I mean, there could be 50. In this case, there's 4. So at least there's just one. And what's neat about this, the red is actually, even the hashtags were dynamically created, but now you know how to do that with the tool GPT for Sheets. But this is the tool that we made for the company that they can now, it's their Instagram generator and scheduler. They can create AI imagery or hashtags directly from this. They don't even have to work in the spreadsheet. These are just test posts. And then all they would need to do is press schedule those posts, and it goes instantly. It takes them it takes the first row out of here if you just choose one row. If you choose 10 rows, it will choose 10. It will process 10 different rows and schedule them into my scheduling app or their scheduling app, and then post one every day. And here's where you can see the power of like where you could consider using the GPT for Sheets, for spreadsheets, for captions, whatever, you know. So so that was something that I used for, I think, did we do the linear, there was one test. This was a linear multi-prompt. Maybe I didn't go over this. So this is a cool example. This reminded me when I got into that spreadsheet that I had done this and forgotten to show you. But this is a name and a quote. This could actually be, again, this could be a quote. This could be GPT. And then in this case, I'm just going to say to create a prompt, or no, it's going to be a close bracket, or GPT. GPT, I don't know if it needs to be all caps, but let's just do it. GPT, and then it's going to be brackets, create, or give me a quote by, and then again, this is like still all the same prompt, and then I just click on that, close the brackets, boom, Okay. So there it is. Now what's this? This is, I'm not going to write this out. This is write me a tweet inspired by the following quote. And so that is, and then I say B2, which is, it's going to be this one. Do not provide any context or hashtags, just use the tweet. So now let's copy that, or just write the tweet. So now let's copy that, and we paste it down there. All right, so this is the quote, this is the tweet. Now we can do the hashtags. Look at this. It's inspired by the tweet. Write 4 high engagement hashtags for the following post, and do not provide any context, just the hashtags. Okay, now we can copy this, copy here, and then lastly what we're going to do, here is the hashtags inspired by this tweet. So you'll see what happened is we started bouncing like this. And then here's the LinkedIn, write a 250 word LinkedIn post about, and then it's going to be about this quote, and do not provide any context or hashtags, just the post. All right, so we take that, we paste it here, and we're ready to go. Great. And so now what you can see is I can actually just delete these because I've got this whole thing automated. I can take these 4 dynamic cells and paste it in here. Let's see what happens. Just give it a sec, because since it see that? It needed to process one to do the next. And so there it is. This is an example of a really cool linear multi-prompt, okay? All right, so let's just go back to this. Basically, when this is posted, and you'll see, so now you can understand how this could be even made more easily with ChatGPT for spreadsheets. In this case, this is the process field, just to show you this, just to show how crazy this can get. All these were dynamically created and scheduled, and then they go out onto the Instagram. And you'll see, for example, here is the, post, here is the hashtags, and then we even have a little signature, which is cool. Now, I'll just show you for fun what this looks like in an automation. We use a tool in my other workshops that I've taught. A lot of them are using this tool called Make. We worked out of the spreadsheets most of the time, besides a little bit in Creatomate. But here is what this automation looks like for that spreadsheet too. And this is it could definitely be made a little bit more. This was the first time we did it, and the next time we did it, we're a lot cleaner with it. But basically it's, going through those spreadsheets, it's making the graphics, it's then making the posts, and it is then scheduling it to social media. Wow, all right, so that was a big workshop, but hopefully at the very least, you've got the basics now to play around with single prompts with some data, in a range, maybe a list, maybe a table. Just getting started with that is going to be huge. And so have fun. If you ever want to talk about these automations, if you would like to ever talk about actually producing more robust solutions for your company or your brand, feel free to go to razor.co, that's raizor.co, and book an exploration call. We can talk about how to build something like we did for Mindshare Nexus, which is a completely automated platform, as well as many other things we can do with automation. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. Feel free to reach out. I would also like to know if you would like to see any types of AI workshops. I really would love to produce more of these. They're super fun. And if there's anything else, just reach out, ask questions. We also have in 2025, a week or sort of monthly workshop. I think it's third Thursdays at noon Pacific Standard Time, where we just talk about ideas, and I share some latest news, share some cool tools. We talk about business workflows. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, you can sign up again. I think it's at the top of razor.co. And it's been a real pleasure. So thanks, everybody. Bye.